Today, we're going to talk about something that's happened to almost everyone at some point: the friend zone. You know, that peculiar social purgatory where your romantic feelings crash headfirst into someone else's let's just be friends wall. But what exactly is the friend zone? Why does it happen? And more importantly, can you escape it? Let's find out. The term friend zone was actually popularized by the TV show Friends back in 1994, when Joey tells Ross that Rachel likes him but will never like him. Ross is stuck in the friend zone. And while things eventually worked out for Ross, most of us don't have script writers on our side. Now, before we dive deeper, let's talk about what you're actually feeling when you have a crush on someone. Those butterflies in your stomach, that nervous excitement, the way you can't stop thinking about them. Scientists call this limerence. And those butterflies aren't just metaphorical. When you're around your crush, your body releases adrenaline, which redirects blood away from your stomach toward your muscles.
This can make your stomach feel upset and even kill your appetite. That's why people say they feel lovesick. Your body is literally making you sick with anticipation. But here's where things get interesting. The friend zone isn't just bad luck or poor timing. There's actually some biology behind it. Enter Bateman's principle. Named after scientist Angus Bateman, this principle explains that in species with two different sexes producing different sex cells, like sperm and eggs, one sex typically has to invest more resources in offspring. In mammals, females can only have a limited number of offspring, while males can theoretically have unlimited offspring. This creates a biological tendency. One sex becomes competitive, the other becomes choosy. So when you get friend-zoned, your first instinct might be to think, nice guys finish last, I should have been more of a jerk. But here's the truth that research keeps proving. That's mostly nonsense. What's actually happening is something called homogamy. We choose partners based on how similar they are to our own personalities, interests, values, and life goals. When someone friend zones you, it's usually not because you were too nice or too available.
It's because you're incompatible. And I know that's hard to hear, but there's a gap between how you see this person and who they actually are. You've idealized them. You've built them up in your head. But a neutral third party looking at you two could probably see pretty quickly that you don't have as much in common as you think. You're not a bad person, you're just not their person. But there is something called being too available, and it ties into one of the most powerful psychological principles in human behavior, the scarcity principle. Psychologist Robert Cialdini discovered that we desire things that are difficult to obtain because we hate having our freedom limited. Think about it. When something is rare or hard to get, we want it more. When it's always there, always available, always within reach, the desire fades.
This happens in business constantly. Limited time offer, only 3 left in stock, exclusive access. These aren't just marketing tricks, they tap into deep psychological wiring. And the same principle applies to attraction. Someone who's always available, always texting back immediately, always free to hang out, always agreeable. That can actually make you less attractive. Meanwhile, someone who's a bit mysterious, hard to pin down, doesn't always respond right away, that triggers our pursuit instinct. It sounds manipulative, but it's just human psychology. We chase what moves away from us. So, can you actually escape the friend zone? Some relationship experts suggest using the scarcity principle strategically. Pull back, become less available, stop being the person who's always there. See if the dynamic shifts. Others recommend something called the Ben Franklin effect. Benjamin Franklin discovered that when you ask someone to do you a favor, they actually start to like you more. Why? Cognitive dissonance. Their brain goes, why am I doing favors for this person? I must like them. It's not a guarantee, but it might change how they see you. But here's where this gets really interesting, and it's something almost nobody talks about. Even if you stay in the friend zone, even if romance never happens, you're actually part of something incredibly valuable because friendship, real friendship, is becoming extinct. Researcher Robert Putnam wrote an entire book about this called Bowling Alone. He discovered that from 1965 to 1995, the amount of time people spent hanging out with friends dropped from 85 minutes per day to just 57 minutes.
The number of picnics Americans had fell by 60%. We went from inviting friends over 14 to 15 times per year to just 8 times. We're socializing less than half as much as our parents' generation did. And it's gotten worse. We spend more time on entertainment, sleep, exercise, and transportation than ever before. Not bad things, but the two activities that have declined the most since the 1950s? Attending religious services and hanging out with friends. The two main places where communities used to form have collapsed.
Then the internet arrived, and social media gave us the illusion that we have more friends than ever. Facebook friends, Instagram followers, online connections. But as T.S. Eliot said about the telephone a century ago, new technology often just allows us to talk to more people while feeling lonelier doing it. Social networks have diluted what the word friend even means. And here's the dark part. What feels social online might actually be performance. We're not building real relationships. We're managing our personal brand in front of an audience. We retreat into online echo chambers where everyone thinks like us, agrees with us, validates us. It's called cyber balkanization. We hide in communities where we never have to face disagreement or challenge. The real world forces us to deal with people who are different from us, who see things differently, who push back. But online, we can curate a perfect bubble. And this is where friendship becomes critical.
Because we choose romantic partners who are similar to us, that's homogamy again, we need friends to expose us to different perspectives. Friends are the people who can tell us we're wrong, challenge our assumptions, show us new ways of thinking. Friends help us grow, and that resource is disappearing from society. So here's the reframe that changes everything. The friend zone isn't a failure. It's not a consolation prize. It's actually where that person might need you most. Real friendship is rare, valuable, and increasingly hard to maintain in the modern world. The friend zone isn't where you go to lose. It's where you go to matter. Think about that next time someone tells you they just want to be friends. They may be offering you something more valuable than romance, a genuine human connection, and a world where those are vanishing. And that's the friend zone explained. Drop a heart emoji in the comments and subscribe.